Hello and welcome to my review of New Japan Pro Wrestling Wrestle Kingdom 16. This may be a long one because, you know, it's a two-night show and a hell of a two-night show at that. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the show. I'm going to be covering what I predicted in my predictions video, what happened, and just my general thoughts on the show. It'll be quite abridged though because, like I say, it is, 21 matches or something like that. So, let's just crack on, shall we? But, yeah, we're going to kick off with the New Japan Rambo that was on the pre-show for night 1. So, obviously, we're doing it in order, so we're starting on night 1. Makes sense, right? So, I actually wrote down all the orders. So, Chase Owens and Aaron Henare started out. Now, it's been so long since I kept up with New Japan that all the young lions that I knew seem to have gone out on excursion or something, and there's a bunch of new ones that I don't know who they are, so excuse me if I butcher some names. But we got Kosei Fujita came out next, followed by Yuto Nakashima and Ryohei, and then, right, I don't know how to say this because the commentators even said this differently. Is it Oiwa or Oiwa? Because I think I heard the commentators say one of each. Well, anyway, 3 young lions were out 3rd, 4th, and 5th for this match. Then came Master Wato. Can I just mention, I still hate him. Like, I just have a thing against Master Wato. I don't think that's ever going to change. I just hate him. I hate his look. I hate his character. I hate his wrestling. I just hate him. I honestly can't even explain why. It's just a gut reaction when I see him. I'm just like, I hate this guy. I don't know why. Out next came Hiroyoshi Tenzan, and then business picked up because out came Murder Grandpa himself, Minoru Suzuki, who then proceeded to eliminate all 3 young lions with various submissions. He got rid of Fujita with a heel hook first, then a double wrist lock to Nakashima, and then a rear naked choke to Oiwa or Iwa. Should be mentioned, by the way, the rules of this, for those not familiar. It's not like the Royal Rumble where you have to go over the top rope. You can be eliminated by being put over the top rope, but you can also be eliminated by being pinned or submitted in the New Japan Rambo. And, yeah, Suzuki just came in and submitted 3 people outright, all 3 young lions. Just kicked them right out of there. It was pretty fun. I love me some Minoru Suzuki, so can't complain. Out next was Satoshi Kojima, as in out to the ring, not eliminated next. Obviously, how can he be eliminated when he wasn't even in yet? And then was Taka Michinoku, which I think was that a surprise return, or had he already been showing up again? I don't know. It was the first time I'd seen him in a while, put it that way, but first time I'd seen anyone in a while. Then one that was definitely a surprise from the commentary reaction was Shima. I can't remember where his home company is, but he was in the early days of AEW, wasn't he? So, yeah, Shima came out. And then Shima eliminated Taka Michinoku by pinning him after a Meteora. So, yeah, Taka didn't last long. Taka probably didn't last as long as the Young Lions did, to be honest. Out next was Honma. Hey, look, it's Honma. And then Master Wato was eliminated. Well, I say was eliminated. He ran at Shima and Shima just ducked and Master Wato threw himself over the top rope. Shima didn't even really low bridge the ropes. He just lay down and Wato threw himself over the top rope, which maybe wasn't the most satisfying elimination for me, who hates him, like would have preferred it to be painful. But I mean, he was gone, so that's all that matters, isn't it? So yeah, Wato was out. Out next, into the Rambo next was Doki. I can never say his name. I think it's Doki. I don't know. Let me know in the comments these pronunciations, what I say right and wrong. I've never really quite known what that vowel sound is in the middle of Doki. But I'm going to go with Doki. It's not Dookie, is it? That's poo. Then was Yuji Nagata into the match, and then Yoshinobu Kanemaru came out, followed by Togi Makupe, and the ring's really filling up at this point, as you can probably tell. Oh no, wait, no. Before Makabe came out, sorry, missed something in my notes there. Tenzan gets eliminated by, I think it was Kanemaru did a roll up, a schoolboy roll up, and then pretty good. Doki jumps on top of the pin as well, because why wouldn't you in this sort of scenario where there's so many people legal in the ring and there's pinfall eliminations? Like, I thought that was really clever. I've never seen that before in like a multi-man elimination match, except the only time you see it is like in WWE when there's someone like the Big Show or someone huge in the match and they all try and pile on and eliminate them. And I'm not sure if I've ever seen it work. Maybe once or twice. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty good little detail that they were like, hang on, we can make this unfair, and did so. So yeah, that's how Tenzan got eliminated. Then Makabe came in, which I've actually remembered to talk about everything now. Kojima was next eliminated, and again this was a negative back suplex, but as he went for the pin, Doki and Kanemaru jumped on it, so they had a strategy, and it was a good one. I enjoyed that little bit of storytelling. Out next was Bad Luck Fale, and then let's see, eliminations happened. Doki got thrown out by Fale, immediately followed by Kanemaru, who got thrown out by Fale. That was immediately followed by Honma getting thrown out by Fale. And then, you never guess what, Yuji Nagata, guess what happened to him? Thrown out by Fale. It was like super wham bam thank you ma'am quick succession eliminations by Bad Luck Fale, making him look dominant. Because he's a big boy, and big boys have to look dominant in Battle Royals, we know that. Out next, this was kind of wild. Tatsumi Fujinami. I think the commentary team on night 2 said he was 68. Came out to the ring and was throwing some moves. He wasn't like doing insane stuff, but apparently he's the originator of the Dragon Screw Leg Whip, which is pretty cool. But he was, I believe, in New Japan's first ever match 50 years ago, so it was a fun little throwback for them. So he came in next. Up next, what happened was, as Fujinami came in, sorry, I'm just looking through my notes, they're all over the place, gotta look for elimination orders. Oh, Bad Luck Fale then got eliminated over the top rope by Toby Makabe, which, honestly, I'm not sure I remember. There was an elimination in this that was just a low bridge, so maybe that was Bad Luck Fale running at him and he just low bridged him. Quite possibly, I'm not sure, I don't really remember that. What happened, like most of these things I'm reading my notes and I'm sort of remembering it as I go, but that elimination is not coming to me, unfortunately. And then the final entrant came in, Toru Yano. So there's a running gag with these things that Toru Yano never has to do any work to win them, because the final 4 qualify, because they go on to a 4-way match on night 2 for the provisional King of Pro Wrestling 2022 championship trophy thing, and there's a running gag that he never has to do anything in these matches. So what happened after Yano came in? Oh no, hang on, no, this was the so I genuinely don't remember what happened to Fale, because I've got it written here. Aaron Hanari, who'd been in since the start, ran at Yano, and Yano just low bridged him and he just eliminated himself basically. So he sort of did something, I guess, but he didn't touch anyone. And then Fujinami put Togi Makabe in a figure 4, and Shima pinned Fujinami. Chase Owens, who was still in from number 1, pinned Makabe, and Yano kind of piled on both the pins, kind of put his arms on both the backs and put his hands on both the backs and pushed down, and they got a double elimination by pinning these two while they were in a figure 4 situation. So Fujinami and Makabe get eliminated by pinfall, leaving the final 4, which was Chase Owens, Minoru Suzuki, Shima, and Toru Yano. So that was going to be the fatal 4-way the next night, and then after the match, all 4 of them beat down Toru Yano. In terms of predictions, I predicted Yano. He was an obvious one. He's always involved in this KOPW situation, but didn't get any of the others. I'm sort of disappointed in myself for not thinking of Suzuki not being on the card and predicting him to be in it, because I picked Yano and 3 Bullet Club members who are clearly just not in Japan at the moment. I assume Tomotange Tongaloa and Jay White. but I got 1 out of 4. So predictions are off to not quite a complete duff start, but not the best. Anyway, the first match of the main show on night 1 was Yo versus Sho, the grudge match. These former tag partners battling it out. Sho, yeah, I've got to get it the right way around. I keep forgetting which way around it is. Sho turned on Yo to join Bullet Club. I find it difficult, like, knowing which one's which, and it's purely because ever since I started watching New Japan, it was Yo and Sho, Yo and Sho, Yo and Sho, and it was sort of like how I was with the Revival in WWE, was not because I couldn't tell the difference, I just always struggled with which one's name was which, because you always heard them both together. So, yeah. So when they split, I'm like, which one's Sho, which one's Yo? It matters now. As bad as it sounds, it matters now. They're not just a team. But yeah, so Sho is the one who joined Bullet Club, joined House of Torture with Evil. I put that this was a good back and forth match. There was a spot where there was a false tap out, where Yo made Sho submit, but Dick Togo had the referee distracted, and I thought at that point, oh, this is definitely a Sho win. So I was feeling pretty confident in my prediction, because, you know, they do that to keep the face looking strong in the likes of WWE and AEW. They'll do things like that to keep the face looking strong, give them like a visual pin or a visual submission, and then the heel can win, and the face can still be like, well, I won though, didn't I? You know, kind of thing. But yeah, that was not the case in this one. So Togo again provided a distraction. Sho tried to use a wrench, which apparently has been a running thing with them. Again, when I say apparently, in the predictions I did point out I've not watched a lot of New Japan for like probably since last Wrestle Kingdom, to be honest. So I'm not really au fait with what's been going on, but I'm trying to get back into it. So any details, welcome in the comments. You know, things I've missed, because I'm not super au fait with what's going on at the moment. But yeah, he tried to use a wrench. I think Yo basically got behind him and ran him into Dick Togo on the apron. So he hit Dick Togo with the wrench, and then Yo hit a roll up and got the pin. So I've called myself 1 from 5 on predictions, because I had to predict 4 winners in the Rambo. So I've said I was 1 from 4, and then I'm still 1 from 5 because I predicted Sho to win, because I thought he's going to win. He's the one who did the turn. That makes him the star in the making kind of thing. But, I mean, it might still do, but the logic was flawed on this one. After the match, Sho tried to attack with the wrench again, but Yo hit him with a super kick and he left. So, yeah, Yo getting a good performance in the opening match. Like, beating Sho twice, beating him in the post-match beatdown. Like, looking strong, my dude, looking strong. Up next was a 6-man tag team match, just intended to build up title matches on night 2. It was Hiroshi Tanahashi teaming with Taguchi and Rocky Romero, the Mega Coaches, against Kenta, El Fantasmo, and Taiji Ishimori. So this was 2 separate matches being built. The US title match between Tanahashi and Kenta, and then the Mega Coaches and ELP and Ishimori were 2 of the 3 teams in the junior heavyweight tag title match on night 2. Now, I put this. I've not made a load of notes on like individual spots and matches throughout this, because this review would go on for hours if I did that. But I did note it was a very rare DQ finish, which obviously was done to promote the no DQ match between Kenta and Tana, which is quite rare in itself in New Japan on night 2. And the way that sort of went down was there was a ref bump, then Kenta got a kendo stick and started using it on Tanahashi. Tana ended up getting hold of the kendo stick and started beating Kenta, but then the referee comes round, tries to stop him, and Tanahashi shoves him away and continues to use the kendo stick, leaving the referee no choice but to disqualify him. So Bullet Club won by DQ, and I predicted Bullet Club to win. So technically, I got 1. It's 2 from 6. But yeah, it was a good way to build in. Kept everyone strong, because everyone's in a title match on night 2, so that's kind of important, you know, not to make anyone look too bad, but you know, you protected in a multi-man tag match anyway, to a certain extent. But I thought this was a good way to do it because they don't do it often. I know maybe people might complain about this because, oh, it's a bit WWE that, but no, it made sense. It made sense that it was telling the story of how Tanahashi has always been this white knight good guy all the way through his career, and now he's willing to tap into that dark side a little bit to deal with Kenta. It was good storytelling. I appreciated it. Up next, another 6-man tag match, just designed mostly to promote matches from night 2, which was United Empire, Great-O-Khan, Jeff Cobb and Will Ospreay taking on LIJ, Bushi, Sanada and Tetsuya Naito. Now this again told quite a good story of Ospreay not wanting to get involved because he's in the World Championship match on night 2, so he wanted to be like fresh as a daisy going into that. So he had a chair at ringside at one point and we just sat down like on a folding chair, not even on the apron. He tagged in a couple of times, did a few little bits. He did win the match by hitting a hidden blade on Bushi. It looked like it missed by a mile, but he won with it, so whatever. Pinned Bushi, but you know he didn't break a sweat. You know that was the whole sort of gimmick. The other matches being built here were Great-O-Khan is going to be taking on Sanada on night 2, and Jeff Cobb versus Tetsuya Naito. I bet on United Empire, that's the one, to win just because Ospreay was in the world title match on night 2. Even though I love LIJ, I went with my brain, not my heart, not my head, not my heart, or whatever the expression is. So that's me 3 from 7. Not bad. I was pretty pleased with myself on the predictions at this point, considering I haven't watched for like a year. I was like, I'm using my logic reasonably well. After the match, it was pretty fun. Naito's been working Cobb's knee apparently for like the entire tour leading up to the show, but even during this match, he was really working over Jeff Cobb's knee to try and weaken him, ready for their match. And you know, like at the end of the matches, young lions come in and put ice on the losers, you know, on the neck or whatever on the back. Naito actually took one of the ice packs and put it on Jeff Cobb's knee for him, which was pretty funny. Right, I love Naito. Little details like that. He's great. So yeah, that was fun. Up next, someone I've never seen wrestle and did not know what to expect. All I know is man go headbutt, man go ow. You know, like I just knew about the story about him not being able to wrestle anymore because of all his headbutts and the bleed on the brain and etc. etc. Now let me try and do his first name. Katsuyori? Katsuyori? I don't know, Katsuyori? Anyway, Shibata versus question marks was the announced match in a catch wrestling rules match. My first thing was, who the hell is Ren Narita? Turns out he's a young lion from the LA dojo. So I was expecting like a big name for this, for a big pop. But they went super logical. They went with his mini-me, his underling, in his main protege kind of thing in the LA dojo. Felt underwhelming to me as a reveal, as a long-time US wrestling fan. You know, these question marks are always like a big crowd pop, aren't they? But in this, it was more about telling the stories, just a different mentality in New Japan. But yeah, it felt underwhelming to me personally. The commentators were saying he's been out for 1,752 days. Wow, that's a long time. So, before the match, Shibata got on the microphone and changed the rules to regular rules from catch wrestling rules. So the idea was, because he's obviously been out injured because of headbutts, it was supposed to be just a grapple only, strikes are banned in this match. And he grabbed the microphone and changed it and said, no, we can wrestle a normal match. And I actually wrote the whole thing seemed pointless, and WWE would be persecuted for this, for promoting a match between a legend and a mystery opponent. The mystery opponent turns out to be his protege that's not even on TV, really. And then changing the rules of the match as well, just before it starts. Like, they get persecuted. Then, after this, I was talking to Taylor Osborne of Funhinged, who said there's a theory going around that he got heat when he went backstage. He wasn't supposed to do that. He went into business for himself. I'm not sure I buy that. Just because, like I say, the match still went on for so long. Someone could have come out and stopped it. Like, it's someone's literal life on the line. If that's not been cleared safety wise, you know, like, he almost died from that injury, from what I understand. You know, I feel like they would have done something about it. If it is that, then like New Japan should be persecuted for not doing anything about it, not protecting the performer. I feel a little bit like, because New Japan never do this work shoot stuff, they never do DQ finishes either. They never really do that many no DQ matches and big ladder spots. Talking about night 2 now, so like I don't know. Maybe they're just trying something a bit different because they know people won't think it's a work because they never do it. It's not their MO. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out, but I personally think it must have been pre-approved, because surely when someone's nearly died doing a certain thing, if they try to do that certain thing again and aren't fully medically cleared to do it, surely like someone stops it. Like you just have to. So I put my prediction wasn't right then, because I'm pretty sure I predicted the mystery person to beat Shibata, because I thought it might be a one and done kind of situation, where he comes back, puts someone over, and it's like, say, like, what's it called, rides off into the sunset, like, on his own terms kind of thing. He gets his last match, his planned last match. But no, that wasn't what was happening. This was clearly just going to be Shibata battering his own young lion for a bit. This is my first time watching Shibata, as I mentioned earlier, and I put he looks really good. So I mentioned in the predictions, I wasn't sure, because I know of Shibata's strikes and his headbutts, wasn't sure if he did the catch wrestling kind of stuff. Oh, he does. Even in this match where strikes were allowed, he was, like, the wrestling itself was really good as well. Like, I was super impressed by Shibata in this match. First time ever seeing him in an actual match. He won with a penalty kick, a PK, which surprised me, but he looked like he hit it well, so I guess that's his move. But it just seems like a not very finishery move for this day and age. But hey, if he can hit it convincingly, he can win with it. So yeah, I predicted Shibata to lose this one, thinking it was going to be a one and done. So yeah, I'm 3 from 8 now. Shibata beat what was his name? Ren Narita. They had a big hug after the match, and they were both quite emotional, especially the young lion. The young lion was really like, you could tell it meant a lot to him. I feel like as a shoot, I feel like Shibata personally chose him for the match, and it was like, this big honor for him. Kind of thing, he was really overcome by the occasion, and just to have his mentor back in the ring, I guess, like, must be a big deal for both of them. Shibata, the pro's pro, can kind of keep his composure, but this young lion, he was just like, nope, I don't want to, I'm not doing, kind of thing, and it was a nice moment. Speaking of nice moments, this one wasn't. Up next was Evil challenging Tomohiro Ishii for the Never Openweight Championship. And I'm just not a fan of Evil. Like I said about Master Wato, there's just something about him I just don't like. I know I'm not supposed to like Evil, but I've not when I started watching, he was in LIJ, and I still wasn't particularly a fan of him then. And I certainly don't think he deserves the sort of the push he got against Naito when he turned. I don't know. I don't know how you do that turn and don't put the title on him. Like, that would have been a bit nonsense as well, but I'm just not a fan. Sorry about the couple of taps then. I'm reading my notes off my phone, and I was adjusting my seating position, and I managed to catch my desk with my phone. So Evil attacked Ishii before he got into the ring and dominated early. The referee had a rough time, I wrote. He was just getting pushed around, and he took a bump. There was interference from Dick Togo, Yujiro Takahashi, Sho, and then Yo came out and equalised, which isn't something you see often for the good guys to have interference to level the playing field. Not something I've seen often in my experience with New Japan anyway. So that was good to see. But then Evil still won with Everything Is Evil. Honestly, I love Ishii, but I switched off a little bit for this match. I don't remember a lot of the details. Like, I watched, but not a lot of it got committed to memory. Like, I don't even remember the ref bump. I only know that happened because I wrote it down. Like, it's just one of those where certain wrestlers just really turn me off, and with that combined with my ADD, I tend to like zone out and forget what I've watched. But I got the key points in, which is Evil won after a lot of shenanigans. I predicted Ishii just because I liked Ishii. That one I predicted with my heart, not my head. Probably should have gone with Evil, honestly. He does win a lot. But 3 out of 9. So 1 in 3 so far. As we go into the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, Dangerous Tekkers, the champions. First thing I wrote was can't take Yoshihashi seriously. Yoshihashi is another one I just have a thing against. They've done this big story where he's finally found himself and he's finally able to win matches, and I'm still here just going, oh, he's in this match to take the pin. He's in this match to take the pin. Like, I just can't get past it, and I don't know why. I really don't. But certain people I just have a mental block on, and certain people I don't. You know, and Yoshihashi really is one of them. So I predicted the champs to retain, but Yoshihashi actually got the pin on Taichi to win the titles, and then there's apparently been an ongoing story over the years because New Japan do these long story arcs that take years to come into fruition, where Taichi has not been taking Yoshihashi seriously as an opponent, and then obviously Yoshihashi pinned Taichi, so he kind of acknowledged him. There was a bit of, I think they all fist bumped through the ropes at the end or something, or no, that wasn't the through the ropes one. I think they all shook hands in the ring. They did some sort of display of respect. I can't remember exactly what they did, but I wrote sportsmanship from Dangerous Tekkers ? Exclamation mark. Like this, that is quite a big deal to see that. I wrote that it was a good match, but some of the Chaos tag moves seemed a bit disjointed, which I did think they did. Like they got a bit muddled up on some of the moves. The finisher was good though. Shame I can't remember what it was. I watched night one it's the 8th now. And I watched most of night one on the 5th and the 6th. And I think I've watched up to here on the 5th, so it's a few days ago. There's been a lot of wrestling since, and I'm not that invested in this match. So, unfortunately, I've forgotten the finisher. I feel like it was some sort of... Was there like a powerbomb involved? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what the finish was to that match, please. Then I think that was actually where I took a break and watched the remainder on the next day, because I've had other stuff I've had to do, which sucks because I really wanted to watch this show like quickly and get the review out quickly, but it is what it is. So up next was Hiromu Takahashi, I should say, because there are two Takahashis. There's Yujiro and Hiromu. They tend to just use first names, don't they, when referring to them, but you know, I like using their full names. Challenging El Desperado for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. And it's quite funny that in my predictions I was like, Hiromu's the biggest star, you never bet against Hiromu. Because that was like the story that was being told about how much of a bigger star Hiromu is, and Desperado, even though he's the champion, is seen as the underdog, and it's only the semi-main because Hiromu's in it, and yada yada yada. So that was pretty fun. That I kind of accidentally predicted the story, but I missed the nuance of the fact that was going to lead to the Desperado win, the big win for him. Which I was surprised at the finish. Yeah, it was quite the physical match, as they always are with these guys. Hiromu's coat, by the way, for his entrance was amazing. I think I actually tweeted out how do I get Hiromu's style, just insane style, but so much fun. There's like a match started with like a million chops, as it quite often does with Hiromu, and then there was quite a few closed fist punches, which again are quite rare in New Japan spots, where people just run in and the other one would just absolutely jaw them. And what I love about this is in American wrestling, like punches are just commonplace, so people punch each other all the time and like completely no-sell it. Each one of these punches just resulted in a complete like ragdoll flop from the opponent. Because they're not hit often, closed fist punches are a big deal in New Japan, and I thought it was pretty fun to see him selling them like that. Really good. And then I put that I was really surprised at the finish. I don't even remember what he pinned Takahashi with. I assume his finisher. Oh, it was he has that finisher that's sort of like Ciampa's fairy tale ending. But he hit like two, didn't he? He hit it, rolled through, and then picked him up and hit another one. Yeah, I remember. Yep, there we go. So, I predicted Takahashi. Takahashi lost, so I'm 3 out of 11 so far. Great success. But I was pretty confident going into the main event, let's be honest. Because I predicted Okada. So this was Okada challenging Shingo Takagi for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I put a very good match, very physical. Okada's eye was pretty much closed at the end because he caught a rough shot to the face. I think it was Takagi's. Is he called it the axe bomber? The lariat. I think his fist hit Okada's face instead of like the bicep hitting across the chest. I think they just misplaced it a bit, and yeah, I think he just basically punched Okada in the eye with it. So yeah, Okada's eye was like, you know, swollen and almost closed by the end of the match. Pretty physical match. I didn't take loads of notes on individual spots. I just watched and enjoyed. It's weird, I talk about wrestlers I have a disconnect with. Okada is one of those for me. I acknowledge how damn good he is, but I don't personally like him. But he's that good that even though I'm not a fan, he still keeps me interested in the matches, you know, and what have you. So I wasn't taking notes during this one for the most part. I was just watching. Thoroughly recommend. It's not like the greatest match of all time, but it's a good physical heavyweight clash. You know, like it's a fight. This one, it's good. It's good fun. Okada wins. With the Rainmaker, of course. The Rainmaker's back, as in the nickname for Okada. His song's called Rainmaker, he's called the Rainmaker, his finish is called Rainmaker. It's a bit of a closed gimmick. I think that's why I'm not like super into him. It just feels very like uninteresting, the gimmick, but whatever. And his facial expression sometimes looks super uninterested as well, which you know, turns me off a bit, I think, as well. But anyway, Okada did pick up the win. I predicted Okada because who wouldn't? So I finished the show on 4 out of 12. A nice 1 in 3 average there. Can tell I don't watch this much because just had no clue. If I'd have known about a lot of the stories being told going in, like the Junior Heavyweight Championship match is a classic one. If I'd have known about the Desperado needs to prove himself against Hiromu, you know, and the jealousy, I might have considered predicting him. I probably still wouldn't have, but I would have at least considered it. I didn't even consider it. I dismissed him as much as the storyline said I should. So, hook, line and sinker there. But, you know, like, there's a few examples, I think, where I may have predicted differently if I'd have known the storylines going in. But, hindsight's 2020. I got 4 out of 12 on night 1. After the match, Okada bowed to the V4. He instead of the briefcase that with the contract for the title match that you win at G1, he chose to carry the version 4 old championship around before it was changed to the World Heavyweight Championship. I think the whole point was like to give it a proper send off, and that's what he did here. He bowed to it and then accepted the new championship, like closed the door on that era properly, instead of it just kind of being like, the title's changed, you know, kind of thing. I think New Japan realised fans felt that was a bit rushed when they did it with Ibushi, so they had Okada do it, you know, quote, properly. Then Will Ospreay comes out, cuts a promo about how Okada was looking pretty banged up and pretty tired. Will Ospreay hasn't broken a sweat. Will Ospreay's the real world champion because I don't know if he's got a replica or he stole an old copy of the world title or something, but basically he's carrying around a fake world championship because he had to... I think what happened was because he had to stay off with injury, he might have kept the belt and then made a new one to crown a new champion. So he's got like one of the world titles and there's another one. It's sort of like the John Cena CM Punk thing from 2011. So he claims he's the world champion. Okada cuts back at him, calling him a fake champion, which upsets Ospreay, and then closes the show with the classic show closing. Thanks for coming. We love you. Let's hope COVID goes away and we can have a full audience and everyone can cheer again. Promo, you know, the always closes the show on New Japan promo type thing from Okada. All in all, night 1 was, in my opinion, good but underwhelming. I feel like I go into Wrestle Kingdom with almost too high of expectations these days, because Wrestle Kingdom is always so good that I sort of put it on too much of a pedestal, and it was a very good show, but it did not live up to my expectations because I was expecting far too much, is honestly what I think happened there. Anyway, night 2. God, this is going to be a long video, but we got to power through, guys. Power through. So, the pre-show matches were all booked before night 1. All booked after night 1 was over. So I didn't do predictions for any of these. The first I knew about them was when I was watching it, to be honest. So the first one was Gedo, Jado, and Bad Luck Fale of Bullet Club against Honma, Yuji Nagata, and Togi Makabe. I made impromptu predictions, and before you go, oh yeah, sure, I did. You will see, I did make them before the match because I don't fake my predictions, guys. I put in my notes, may as well side with Bullet Club again, because apart from the evil Ishii match, I've been predicting Bullet Club to win everything on this show. So I picked Bullet Club again, and Honma pinned Gedo. I think it was Gedo. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the commentary even building up, when was the last time Honma got a pinfall victory, like actually got the pin in a match? And I was like, classic, isn't it? Honma gets his first pinfall in however long, just to make my prediction wrong. But yeah, so, good start. 0 from 1 on night 2, 4 out of 13 overall over the course of Wrestle Kingdom on predictions. Next up was another 6-man tag, Master Wato, who, by the way, can I just mention, I still hate. I actually wrote it in my notes again. Like, I'm just gonna keep that going. He's my least favorite, by the way, even over Evil and Yoshihashi. I wouldn't put Okada in that group at all. I'm not into him, but I acknowledge how good he is. It's impossible to hate him as much as I hate Master Wato, for example. But yeah, so it's Wato, Kojima, and Tenzan against Taka Michinoku, Kanemaru. Is it Kanemaru or Kanemare? I've written Kanemare here, but Kanemaru sounds more right. Hang on. Back to night 1. I know I wrote it right on night 1. Let me go have a look. Where is it? Where are you at? Where is it at? Oh, it was in the Ramble, wasn't it? Kanemaru, yes. Okay. Right, so I did write it wrong on this one. Kanemaru and El Desperado. So 6-man tag. It's basically a load of people that were in the Rambo and didn't win it on these pre-show matches for the most part. So I put, let's predict Suzuki-gun, because, I hate Master Wato, so let's predict his opponents. Also, I hate Master Wato. And then Master Wato makes Desperado tap. Desperado here, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, who just beat Hiromu clean on night 1. Can I just remind you? Just tapped out to some new butterfly lock type thing from Master Wato, and I am not pleased. Master Wato better not win that title from Desperado. I'm telling you, I quite like Desperado. He better not win it. I'm telling you now. 0 from 2 on night 1, 4 from 14 overall. This is going great. Next, Doki, Zack Sabre. I've decided that's how it's being said. Doki, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi, the former tag team champions, versus Bushi, Hiromu, and Shingo Takagi. A lot of night 1 losers in this match. I even made a note of that. Like, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi lost the tag titles. Doki was in the Rambo, I think, so he technically lost. Bushi, I'm not sure. Did I see him in the Rambo? Can't remember. I'm not going to go back and check. But Takahashi and Shingo both lost the 2 main events. So, a lot of losers in this match. I predicted LIJ because I'm an LIJ fan. I'm a fan of Suzuki-gun as well, to be fair, but, I really like LIJ. So, I predicted LIJ. And Takagi pinned Doki to make me 1 from 3. I got 4 from 12, a 1 in 3 ratio on night 1. I got 1 in 3 here from the pre-show, and was on 5 from 15 overall. I'm consistent. I get 1 out of every 3 correct. So, on to the main show, anyway. So, we started off with a triple threat tornado tag match, which I don't think was specifically stated that there would be no tags going into this match. I don't remember seeing anything about that, or hearing anything about it on commentary. But, yeah, for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships, this was the Mega Coaches, Taguchi and Romero, against El Fantasma and Taiji Shimori. So those 2 teams faced off in a 6-man tag on night 1. And then the champions, Tiger Mask and Robbie Eagles, which are a team now. But commentary were bigging up how new and unestablished a team these 2 were, so I don't feel so bad for not knowing about them. But they've been together since Junior Tag League, so it's still been a while. Anyway, yeah, so there were no tags being done, because I was curious going into this. Were they going to have 2 legal men? Were they going to have a legal man from each team? Like, how were they going to do this? Turns out they were just not going to have tags or legal men. We were just going to go for it. So that was fine. I don't mind that. It was high tempo, all action. Commentary said it was like Lucha Rules, but no, Lucha Rules has legal and illegal men. It's just you don't always have to tag. If someone rolls out the ring, someone else can replace them. But this, there was no semblance of anyone just standing on the apron at all at any point in the match. It wasn't really lucha rules, it was tornado rules. From my understanding of lucha rules, I'm not a lucha expert by any stretch, but from what I understand, lucha rules is like normal tag rules, but if your partner like leaves the ring, like slides out of the ring to recover, you can just come in, I believe. Anywho, Romero got a scary botch on a springboard where he slipped. He still managed to get enough of the Doomsday device type thing he was going for, but he like was falling face first at one point. You know, it looked like it could have ended badly, but he recovered. He was okay. The boot mystery of ELP that's been going on for like a year and a half now or something was finally resolved. Ishimori got taken out of the match, got beaten up, and then the other four took ELP down and took his boot off and found a chunk of metal in his boot that he's been hitting people with for the super kicks. He's been knocking a lot of people out with super kicks suspiciously because he didn't used to, and he claimed it was from when the pandemic hit. He went home to Canada and was super kicking trees for practice, which was pretty fun. But yeah, there was always the suspicion he's got a loaded boot, but you know, it never got proven. And now it has. And because the commentary team were going on about, you know, going back and sort of reversing decisions from the last 18 months to disqualify ELP every time he hits a super kick. But I'm not sure that can happen. That would mess up law too much. But it was a fun little rant from commentary nonetheless. ELP and Ishimori got disqualified from this match, which was interesting because I don't think he'd used a super kick yet. So technically, he hadn't used a foreign object. Now, how many times do we see someone bring in a foreign object, not use it, and not get disqualified? And yet, here, he got disqualified just for bringing in the foreign object. It's weird. But anyway, yeah, they got disqualified and eliminated, so it went down to a 2-on-2 tornado tag, which I was furious about because I predicted that. So I was like, so much of my prediction, like, my team can't win it now. It's down to the other two. In the end, Robbie Eagles made Rocky Romero tap out, so the champions retained, which would probably have been my third choice for a prediction. So, yeah, I definitely wasn't getting that right. 1 from 4 on night 2, 5 from 16 overall. Whew, terrible. Next was the special Stardom tag team match between, right, let's try this, Saya Kamitani and Tan Nakano versus Starlight Kid and Mayu Iwatani. Hopefully I did okay with that. I'm not familiar with any of these at all. I've never watched Stardom. I really like, the first thing I wrote down, I really like the Wonder of Stardom Championship belt. That's a really nice belt. That's so cool with the actual star-shaped belt. That's really good. So what I understood from commentary was that within Stardom lore, Kamitani and Nakano are friendly-ish. They're rivals, but they're friendly rivals, whereas Starlight and Iwatani do not care for each other. I predicted Starlight and Iwatani, so that was fun to find out. I was like, God damn it. But early in the match, I put my girls working together pretty well. My girls, because I predicted them. You know, they're my team now. You know, they're like already a fan. But yeah, they did some good teamwork. But basically, I found out that like Kamitani and Nakano are like the Okada and Tanahashi, I guess, in a way. Like, different dynamic, but like that sort of level within Stardom, I think, from what I understood. So yeah, naturally they won. Kamitani pinned Starlight. The reason I picked Starlight Kid and Iwatani was because I liked Starlight Kid's name. So my girl got pinned with a Phoenix Splash, a nice Phoenix Splash actually, by Kamitani. So I said it was a fun match, which it was. It was a fun tag match, fun sort of exhibition match. But I'm now 1 from 5 on night 2, 5 from 17 overall. Absolutely disgracing myself. So, next match. All I had to do was predict this one right to keep my 1 in 3 going. I would have been 2 from 6 and the 6 from 18. This was the KLPW 2022 Provisional Championship match between Shima, Chase Owens, Minoru Suzuki, and Toru Yano. And I predicted Yano to win because he was the only one I knew would be in the match. So I had to make a confident-ish prediction. Had I known it was these 4, I would probably have picked Suzuki. Honestly. because, like, obviously, like, Shima's probably not winning, and Suzuki's on a different level than these guys. I do know Suzuki has issues with Yano, though. He's, like, a bit of a bogey guy for him. Like, you know, you can't quite figure him out. So, I don't know. Maybe I'd have been umming and ahhing between the two. But it's Suzuki. I love Suzuki. I love Yano as well, but I love Suzuki. So, I'd probably have picked Suzuki. But I didn't. So, I didn't know it was going to be in the match. He was going to be in the match, so I didn't pick him. The start was great. Yano comes out last and all three others are squaring up in the ring. Yano walks in the middle of them like, hey, what about me? And then Suzuki just gut punches him and drops him. It was pretty funny. There was a really fun spot. Again, I don't make a lot of notes about things that happen in matches, but if there's a really good or bad or something, if there's a really standout spot, I'll mention it. There was a spot where Shima had Yano in an Indian deathlock and kept standing up, and then Suzuki kept knocking him down. So as he fell backwards, he was doing the pressure thing on the deathlock, like putting extra pressure on the legs of Yano. That was pretty funny. In the end, Suzuki actually pinned Yano, and I put fun times ahead. Yeah, Suzuki being able to pick the stipulations for his own title defenses, because that's like the gimmick of the KOPW trophy, is the champion gets to choose the stipulations for the defenses. That's gonna be fun. That's going to be so brutal. So much fun to watch. But I predicted Yano. Suzuki won. So I'm now 1 from 6 on night 2. 5 from 18. At the end of the match, Suzuki tried beating down Yano. And Yano just produced some handcuffs from somewhere. And handcuffed Suzuki to the top rope and just left. Which was just brilliant. Suzuki was fuming. Eventually a young lion got hold of a key. Unlocked Suzuki. And Suzuki knocked him out to thank him. So yeah, classic Suzuki. Great stuff. Up next was the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships. Yoshihashi and Hiroki Goto challenging Sho, Yujiro Takahashi and Evo for the championships. Yoshihashi and Goto with their second title match in 2 nights. They won the first one against what I predicted. I predicted them to lose here as well. So I predicted Bullet Club to retain here. Commentary were talking about how someone was eventually going to have to out-cheat House of Torture. The only way to fight fire is with fire, kind of thing. You know, you got to beat them at their own game, because everyone who's trying to fight fair against them is just getting done over by them. Which was a fair point, because that's what happened. Sho pinned Yo after Evil hit a low blow. Hashtag all the bars there, lots of O's. And then Sho hit Yo in the face with a wrench. So the wrench spot came off for them on night 2. And they retained the Never Openweight 6-man Tag Team Championships. As I predicted, might I add. So 2 from 7. And 6 from 19 overall. Still not great numbers, but at least I got a Booyaka 619 in there. Next, there was a segment, which is a rarity in itself, except for an occasional post-match beatdown or something. Keiji Muto and the rest of Noah showed up. So New Japan have a show. I think it might already have happened, actually. Was it this morning? Our time? Last night? Japan time? I'm not sure, you know. Anyway, there's a show coming up, or just happened, where it's a New Japan versus Pro Wrestling Noah Super Show. So all of Noah showed up. LIJ came out to confront them, led by Shingo Takagi. But Shingo counted the guys in the ring. And when I say the guys in the ring, there was like 30 or something Noah guys in the ring. And then there's like 4 members of LIJ actually came out. And Shingo's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go, boys. And just backed down. It tickled me. It wasn't like heel cowardly. It was pretty funny. It was pretty good. So yeah, it was just to big up the upcoming super show between the two. You know, a little bit of hype for it. Up next, Great-O-Khan versus Sanada. So I didn't know this about these two, but the commentary kept telling us about this. They told us about it in the 6-man tag on night 1. Told us about it here. These were the top 2 winningest New Japan wrestlers in 2021. Great-O-Khan had 86 wins in 2021, and Sanada had 80, which is wild. So they had those two face off. I put that I ADD'd this one twice. Great-O-Khan's another one I have a bit of a mental block on. I'm not super into him. This match was good for him. I'm just not a big fan, honestly. He hit a nice springboard moonsault out the corner, though. Great-O-Khan apparently has this thing going on at the moment where he wrestles the other guy's style of match. He tries to beat them at their own game. So he was trying to wrestle pretty against Sanada, because Sanada has very pretty matches, apparently, according to Great-O-Khan. So that was where the moonsault came from. But Sanada won with a roll-up. And then I can't remember who I predicted, probably Sanada. Checked. Yep. I actually went back and watched my predictions video, paused Wrestle Kingdom, watched my predictions video up to that point and was like, oh yeah, I did pick Sanada. So there we go. I get a correct prediction. And to be honest, I'm not surprised I picked Sanada because I like Sanada. I don't like Great-O-Khan. So yeah. I'm doing a lot of predictions with my heart on this one if my head doesn't know what to do. So 3 out of 8 now, 7 out of 20. We're getting there, boys. We're getting there. Can we shoot for a mighty 50%? Let's aim for that, shall we? Actually, I don't think 50% was possible at this point. Yeah, no, 50% wasn't possible. Oh no, wait. No, 50% overall wasn't possible. 50% on night 2 was. Anyway, next match: Jeff Cobb versus Tetsuya Naito. I made a note. Naito was way less tranquilo than usual. He was a bit more intense. You know, he like his usual fake dive to the outside, then he does a roll through and into the tranquilo pose. He sort of teased that, but then he ran and did a baseball slide drop kick to Jeff Cobb and carried on the attack on the outside. He was taking this one seriously, which puts Jeff Cobb over pretty big. Cobb did this suplex on the outside where he lifted Naito up into a stalling vertical suplex, walked him back into the ring post twice, then ran forward and suplexed him on the floor. It was pretty damn impressive. Anyway, they're the only bits I want to really touch on during the match. It was a good match, back and forth. Naito working the knee. Eventually paid off. He pinned Cobb with the Destino in the end. The Destino. And it was a very good match. I thought it was a good match, but it was probably a very good match if I'm being honest. I obviously predicted Naito to win because Naito's my boy. My boy. So I went 4 from 9 and 8 from 21 overall with that one. With 2 matches remaining. One of which, and it doesn't matter for the purposes of this video, but it's going to annoy my OCD something rotten. I didn't bold and underline the match so that I could find the matches real quick. I was like putting the name of the match, like who was in it and what it was for, and then bold and underlining it, and then the text about the match was just in normal font. I didn't do it for the main event. My bad. Done it now. Anywho, so yeah, I was 8 from 21, and like I say, was it even possible to go, you know, to go 50-50 at this point? 8 from 21 with 2 matches left, so the max I could have got was 10 from 23, which, spoilers, I didn't do. But I've actually realised I did my calculations slightly wrong as well. Anyway, yeah, but 10 from 23 still isn't 50% over the 2 nights, so I've failed massively. Anywho, next up, the no disqualification match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Kenta defending against former champion Tanahashi. In my predictions, I was like, are they trying to just put every belt on Tanahashi before he quits, before he retires? He's already had this belt, apparently. So I didn't even know that. But fun spots. Kenta had his broken US title shot briefcase under the ring. Just a wrecked briefcase, which was pretty fun throwback. I hope that guitar was gimmicked, because I know I've heard the horror story from WWE when they first did a guitar shot and didn't realise how sturdy guitars are. So like nearly broke someone's neck and head with a guitar shot, and I thought New Japan don't gimmick their stuff. I hope they've gimmicked this guitar. The back seemed to give pretty easily, but it didn't explode like guitars traditionally do in wrestling. And it's the metal bit going down the neck that's the problem, down the front of the guitar, and that's the bit that didn't break. So I really hope Kenta didn't just take a metal bar to the head. Because, like, oh, he got the guitar broken over his head by Tanahashi, and I was like, I really hope this is gimmicked. This is not good. Towards the end of the match, we'll skip through. It was a really fun no DQ match. Lots of fun stuff, lots of fun spots, brutal looking spots. But towards the end, Kenta produces this huge ladder, like it was massive. Sets up Tanahashi on a table, one of the classic non-gimmicked, hard to break New Japan tables. Climbs the ladder. Tanahashi gets up, and instead of doing like a move through the ladder, which I thought was where they were going with this, like maybe a super through the table, which I thought was like what they were going for, like a superplex, Tanahashi just pushed Kenta basically off the top of the ladder near enough, and he landed like face down, and they had a trash can in the ring, and you know like the trash cans if you hit the middle of it, they like proper give way. They make a nice, beautiful dent in them, and it looks impressive, but probably doesn't hurt all that much. Yeah, no, Kenta hit the edge of the bottom of the trash can. You know, like the most reinforced bit of the trash can, with his face directly. Like, no hands got in the way. He had a massive gash, like, on his face, like, basically looking to keep his eye, because it was, like, down the side of his nose and curved round past, like, in between his nose and his eye. Like, absolutely brutal looking. Like, with blood everywhere. Like, that's what you call being busted the hard way. There was not a plan for blood in this match. I'm telling you, that was hard way. It was not a blade. Yeah, look, really brutal. Not surprisingly, Kenta removed from the Noah Super Show, the New Japan vs Noah Super Show, unsurprisingly. And then he still took a high fly flow off the ladder from Tanahashi through that table. So kudos to Kenta. Like, what a tough cookie he is. I predicted Kenta to win because I just was basically going Bullet Club all predictions video. And also I really like Kenta. I like Tanahashi, not as much as everyone in Japan seems to. Like, he's a bit 2009 John Cena for me. You know, ultimate good guy, wins all his matches, no character development, you know. But he's a good wrestler, which, you know, makes up for it. His matches are always good fun. Not that Cena wasn't a good wrestler, but he wasn't good enough to make up for it. I think that's why people turned on him. Anywho, Tana picked up the win. I picked up the predictions loss. And go 4 out of 10, 8 out of 22 overall. And now I can't even go 50-50 on night 2 because the best I can do is 5 out of 11 and 9 out of 23, which is abysmal over the 2 nights. So, main event of the evening. Will Ospreay, the self-proclaimed real world champion, who once again, both nights, I think I forgot to mention this on night 1, but kept bullying the ring announcer into announcing him as the real world champion, which is kind of fun. Challenging Okada for the newly won IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. As I said on predictions, there's no way Okada's having a one-night reign with that belt. The commentator, the one that's not Kevin Kelly, I forgot his name, on the during the interviews is called Will Ospreay and Bell End, which just really tickled me. Like, just wow, just where did that come from? Brilliant. This was a really, really good match. Again, I made no notes on this. I just put my phone down and just watched this match. It was really good. Say what you will about Will Ospreay personally. You know, I'm not a huge fan. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to defend the guy. But if you separate art from artist and just watch the wrestling, god damn, he's good. You know, like, and so is Okada, even though I'm not a huge fan of him personally, like, as a wrestler. Not as a person. I don't know anything bad about Okada as a person. But as a wrestler, I'm not the biggest fan ever, but god damn, these two are both good. You know, like, really good match. Really fun match. Okada pinned Ospreay after several Rainmakers, but, you know, the finale was just the one, I believe. And retained his title and gave me another positive prediction, which I appreciate. Thank you, Okada. Maybe we can be friends yet. So I finished on 5 out of 11 for night 2 to go with my mighty 4 out of 12 from night 1 to make a huge 9 out of 23 overall. But all hope was not lost, because then at the end of the match, when Okada's cutting his goodbye promo, you know, to send the fans home, Naito comes out and challenges Okada. By the way, I can't find it anywhere to purchase on the internet. Where can I get that Tranquilo hat? I've been looking for that for so long now, and it just doesn't seem to be purchasable, and it's really annoying me because he started wearing it and they don't selling it, and I want it. I really want it. So where can I buy one of them? Please let me know in the comments. But yeah, I think from what I understood, they're going to do Okada versus Naito at the 50th anniversary show, which I assume they're doing an actual designated 50th anniversary show. I thought they were just talking about how appropriate it was to do it during the 50th anniversary celebrations, because they're sort of ongoing. This Wrestle Kingdom was already part of those celebrations, even though it was founded in April, I think they said, 1972. I'm not sure, but I doubt we're going to wait that long for that match, so maybe they didn't mention it being on that show. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it anyway. I think Naito's going to lose, unfortunately, because Okada doesn't do little short reigns, you know. But still, just nice to see my boy back in that spot. Lovely to see. Whew! Long review. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comment section. Don't forget to leave a like. If you got this far, then you obviously enjoyed this video, so please do leave a like. It's greatly appreciated. And subscribe if you are new here for more wrestling content. Sorry, I just stole that. But yeah, do drop a subscription, hit that bell, getting the notifications, all that fun stuff. We've got loads of stuff coming up. But for now, all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been Ebeza. You've been amazing, and I will see you next time.